The fish had been there for as long as anyone could remember. Once, it was the centerpiece of the town's crumbling pier, a massive carcass that locals named Old Levi. For decades, fishermen said it was an ancient leviathan, its bones being the remains of some prehistoric monster that had slept beneath the waves long before their ancestors sailed these waters. Kids dared each other to touch it, elders told stories of strange lights and whispers drifting from its rotting flesh at night, and locals used it as a landmark, a symbol of the town's enduring mystery. But over the past few days, strange things began happening. At first, it was subtle, fishermen noticing their nets torn apart under mysterious circumstances, flickering shadows darting just beyond the edges of their vision near the pier, and an unsettling feeling that someone, or something, was watching from beneath the water. Then came the whispers. Soft, almost inaudible at first, but gradually growing clearer in the minds of those who lingered near the pier after sunset. It was Jamie who first saw the figure last night. She was out with her friends, the sun setting behind the horizon and casting long, eerie shadows over the decaying skeleton of Old Levi. As a cool breeze swept in, the shape became apparent, a massive, shadowy form rising from the water, tentacle-like appendages undulating beneath the surface. It hovered silently, just beyond the rocky pier, its glowing eyes staring directly at her. Her friends called her paranoid, but Jamie felt it, something ancient and gaunt, writhing just below the surface, waiting. She tried to dismiss it as hallucination. Maybe the stories of the Leviathan were just legends, spun from the town's collective fear and fascination with Old Levi's strange, almost unnatural presence. Still, her heart hammered in her chest as she kept looking at the water. That night, she couldn't sleep. The whispers grew louder in her mind, echoing in her ears as if they were inside her head. She remembered the stories her grandmother used to tell, about creatures that had once roamed the depths, beings that fed on the fears of humans, growing stronger with each nightmare. A shiver ran down her spine. She realized that perhaps Old Levi was not dead but merely dormant, waiting for the right moment to rise again. Frightened but curious, Jamie set out early the next morning, clutching her flashlight and a thick notebook filled with sketches and notes on the creature. She decided to investigate further, walking along the pier where the carcass of Old Levi still jutted grotesquely from the water. The rotten flesh was pulsing softly, the smell horrendous but oddly mesmerizing. As she approached, a strange ripple disturbed the water near the carcass. She froze. Then she saw it. A flicker of those peculiar lights, faint and dancing just beneath the surface. Her breath caught. Something was stirring. Suddenly, the water exploded upward with a violent splash, and a monstrous, tentacled head broke the surface, a grotesque fusion of flesh and shadow with eyes that gleamed like obsidian. It regarded her with a hunger too ancient for words. Jamie stumbled back, dropping her notebook. The creature's tentacles reached out as if seeking her, and she panicked. The whispers swirled in her mind, urging her to run, to escape. But the creature's eyes locked onto hers, and she felt a strange pull, as if her very soul was being probed. Just then, her phone buzzed wildly in her pocket. It was her brother, calling repeatedly, worried about her whereabouts. She snapped out of her trance, realizing she needed to get away before it was too late. She sprinted back toward town, not daring to look back. Her mind was racing. What was that thing? Was it truly a leviathan, some ancient being unleashed from its slumber? Or perhaps it was something else. A guardian, a predator, or even a remnant of humanity's darkest fears taken shape. That night, Jamie couldn't sleep. The whispers persisted, more insistent now, echoing stories from her grandmother about beings that lurked just beneath the surface, waiting for the silence to speak their terrifying truths. She knew she couldn't ignore it. Whatever that creature was, it was more than just old bones and legends. It was alive, hungry, and it had sights set on her. Over the next few days, strange occurrences multiplied. Fish died in the harbor. People reported unsettling dreams, filled with endless depths and shadowed monsters. Animals acted nervously, skittering and hissing at unseen threats. Then came the disappearance. The fisherman who had explored the wreck the night before vanished without a trace, his boat found drifting with no sign of him. Fear gripped the town as more strange phenomena unfolded. Jamie's friends began to have nightmares, their eyes hollowed by fear. And she knew deep down that whatever awakened beneath the water was no longer dormant. It was awakening, hungry and angry, and maybe, just maybe, heading toward them. Late that night, Jamie stood at the edge of the water again, flashlight casting a weak beam over the dark, churning depths. The whispers were deafening now, a maddening chorus that seemed to come from all directions. She felt the earth tremble beneath her, and suddenly, the water roiled as the enormous, shadowy head re-emerged, its glowing eyes fixed on her. Her scream caught in her throat as the creature lunged upward, tentacles writhing and teeth bared. She stumbled back, falling to her knees. The beast's shadow loomed larger than anything she'd ever seen, an ancient nightmare incarnate, pierced with glowing eyes that seemed to see into her very soul. In that moment, she understood. The Leviathan was not just a beast, not just a legend. It was a force older than the town, a darkness that lurked in the abyss, waiting patiently for the right moment to reclaim what was its. And as it reached out to consume her, Jamie knew that the stories were true. The monster was alive, and it was hungry. And something told her that it was only the beginning.